I guess what's your process? What's before that? What sparked? What made you want to start writing this series?
Well, this series in particular, I've always loved fiction. I always wrote short stories when I was a kid, and just I wrote little collections of short essays. Were my first few books at first, but what really spawned this was a deep realization that I think you can get across a lot more conscious points, a lot more important things that people, you think people should know through a fictional story instead of just straight spitting facts at somebody. I feel like, they'll listen to you more. So it's basically what spurned it is using a lot of those original ideas through a fictional story and just putting what I see out there and, pulling things from my life, just like any kind of writer would do. There's bits of me in all my characters. But so I would say the passion of starting the series, I just got sick and tired of so many things going on, and so it seemed like so much noise and so much chaos, and there were so many things I could do or fix or a million directions I could go in. And I felt like I had to do something, and I felt like this at least was my voice. It's really a way to have conversations. I mean, I portray a lot of stuff in there that I think, you know, will show people that there's a lot more that we agree on than we don't. We have a lot more in common once we let all the fog fade away. And I believe that through the book, through stories and through things people can relate to, I think that's a great way to pull people together. So for me, it's all part of this bigger picture. Really, which is what got me to write the novels.
Sort of that unification.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm a very admittedly liberal person, but I've had several admittedly conservative people read my stuff and really like what I have to say. So, because they know what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to poke through the fog. I purposely don't mention political parties anywhere in my books, specifically because of that, and labels and everything else that I don't agree with. But
So do you think that's sort of like a good metaphor for the story itself? Is like instead of I don't want to say pointing fingers, but in a way making it inclusive. Like you're starting a discussion at the same time without inciting blame, or do you feel like your stories are more so, like you said, to poke through the fog as a means of starting a discussion?
I would like to say that. I'd like to say, as a means of poking through. At least that's what I'd like to believe. Of course, just like any artist, once you put something out there, I always felt like the great sign of a piece of art was you could put it out there and you can want it to mean one thing, and then somebody else sees it and gets something else from it, and then different people pull different things. The multi-layeredness of it, I think, shows the quality.
Yeah, I think that's even just such a crazy idea in general. Like my interpretation of blue is, vastly different than your interpretation of blue,
Exactly.
colors, ideologies, ideas themselves. Like, I know the viewers can't really see this, but you've got artwork strewn about your walls, all over your ceiling. Like, you got newspaper clippings, you've got books, a completely stacked bookshelf, and, like, I think all of this is art. Like, it tells a story in and of itself. Like,
It's part of who I am, and part of, I guess, living by myself for a while, of course, but I always, basically it provides good energy for me and a nice environment. I haven't had roommates in a while, which is nice, but I like to have a space, and having that space is the basis of everything, at least for me, the stability. And it all goes into the production of the work, or my life, or just seeing how it's all connected, because I've found what makes me a better writer is actually the same thing that makes me a better human being.
and what is that?
Is basically taking care of myself, treating myself special, being kind, feeling gratitude, inhaling beauty whenever I can. The writing experience itself especially when you're doing such a large project, which is a marathon. You're expelling all this energy, so you need to bring some back in. You know, my mom always used the metaphor of filling your own cup. If you spend all day filling everybody else's cup up and you don't fill your own, you're going to be left with nothing.
Good point.
So I try to have that balance: work, play, relax, as I like to think. So it basically, and all that wrapped up together, keeps my mind in the right place.
Cool.
And keeps me healthy and able to be able to work my mind correctly, which makes me a better writer. But doing all those other things has the added benefits of improving my life and emotional and spiritual well-being as well.
Is writing your full-time job?
No.
Yeah, I wish. That's the dream. That's the goal.
It is, of course, and I love the fact that there's many more opportunities for people to just put their work out there these days. Even in the last 10 years, how I published my books, you wouldn't have been able to do. So I'm very grateful for that. So